Hey guys, Prowl1701 here, and today we are going to be reviewing Doctor Who, The Crimson Horror from Series 7, which is a vastly underrated series in Doctor Who, and I love The Crimson Horror. Let me just start off. I do. I've talked about on the channel before how much I love the story, how much I think it's very underrated, and having just finished watching it again, I stand by that. It's so much fun. This is one of those stories, if you go into it expecting Genesis of the Daleks or Caves of Androzani or Dalek or, The Empty Child, you might be a little disappointed. But if you go in expecting just something a little more fun, like The Unicorn and the Wasp or something like that, or the Lodger, it is a lot of fun. It really is just kind of a nice filler episode, but there's a lot of good stuff going on to it. First off, I love the camera work in this. The cinematography, the directing, the camera styles they choose to use. I love everything going on with that. It is just directed wonderfully. It looks set in the Victorian times really well, which I like. The BBC is very good at doing historicals. Doctor Who is good with historicals. They always look really nice. One of the reasons I also love Thin Ice. Looks immaculate. I like how the story kind of starts in the middle of what's going on, and then partway through the episode we get the recap of what happened and led to that point. That's done really well because I love when it switches to the flashback, how the footage goes all old-timey looking, like it looks like footage from way back would look. And it's done in those shorter chops, like the Doctor is explaining to Jenny quickly, because, they're right in the middle of doing stuff, looking for Clara, that he's just giving her the bare bones that she needs to know. It does a good job of getting us through that part, explaining to us what we need to do to get us up to date on what's going on. That's really well done. And I love the scene in the flashback when Clara and the Doctor first get there, and the Doctor's like, I once had to get a gabby Australian to Heathrow Airport. Why? Oh, I don't know. And then they hear somebody scream, and the Doctor's like, Braveheart, Clara. I love when Doctor Who does that. Braveheart, Clara. Of course, referencing when the Fifth Doctor always said Braveheart, Tegan. I had forgotten about that, so when I heard it, I was like, yeah, I had one of my huge, Doctor Who fan smiles on. Love the reveal that the Doctor was the monster up in the attic. Didn't know that, until the reveal. I like that because it's just weird thinking of the Doctor being referred to as the monster. I like that. I enjoyed that. I mean, the actual plan of the story is silly B-movie plot, but that's why I love it. Everybody just looks like they're having a good time. Matt is great in this. I absolutely love Matt in this. His mannerisms, his facial expression, the way he says his lines. I love just him and Diana Rigg go so well off each other. And she looks like she's having the time of her life. She just looks like she's playing the cuckoo batsy old lady, and I love it. When Matt's talking to Jenny about, well, why is she trying to do that? Because she's cuckoo, cuckoo. I love. And then, of course, when Jenny's stripping down to fight and the Doctor's watching her, and he's holding the screwdriver, and suddenly the screwdriver goes, he looks at it and he's like, puts it back down. And then it shows Jenny fighting, and when it cuts back to Matt, the screwdriver is back up again. I'd forgotten it comes up the second time. I remember it doing that and him putting it back down, but when it cuts back to him a few seconds after she starts fighting, the screwdriver is back up. I just love the innuendo in that. This episode just looks like it's having so much fun. I love that with Diana. I love when the Doctor confronts her at the end and he's like, I'm the Doctor, you're nuts, and I'm gonna stop you. That could be one of the best lines in all of Doctor Who. And the Doctor's explaining to her about how dangerous everything is. Do you realize this could kill everyone on the planet if it's in the wrong hands? And I just love that Diana Rigg looks at him and said, do you know what these are, Doctor? And she goes, the wrong hands. And she just goes over there and activates them. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, man. She's hilarious. Just like right at the end when she's going to pull the secondary switch for the rocket and she meets some of her helpers. She's like, is everything set up? Yes, ma'am. Well, then, heaven awaits you. She says it very much like an American Southerner right there. I love that. Well, heaven awaits you. I don't know. I was laughing so hard. And then at the end when she falls and the doctor watches her fall and he's just like, ooh. It's like, it's serious, but it's still funny the way he does the expression. And then when the daughter beats Mr. Sweet to death, he's just like, a lot of what Matt does in this is just funny with his facial expressions. But like I said, there's some serious moments going on too. I mean, you feel bad for the daughter as her mom is completely rejecting her. Putting her own selfish wants and desires first, and then finding out that the daughter's scars are all because the mother was, experimenting on her with the venom so she could build up an immunity for herself. And that's where all her scars and stuff came from. Just the callousness of a mother for her daughter. It's just, there's a lesson there. And that's actually a pretty heavy moment, I think. Both of them do a good job, which if I remember right, I do believe that's Diana Riggs' actual daughter in real life. I think they really are mother and daughter. And I like when the daughter has a bit of a temper and goes after her mom with the kid. And then at the end when she finds Mr. Sweet, a bit of a temper on that one. And then I had forgotten that at this point, the Patstonatter gang, or whatever they're called, they don't realize there's another Clara because they only know the Clara from the Snowmen, the one that died in the Snowmen, the Victorian Clara. So when the doctor's like, I've got to find Clara, Jenny's like, but Clara's dead. Everybody's shocked when they see Clara. I'd forgotten about this. I'm having to mentally keep up with what's going on while this episode is airing. The doctor still hasn't figured out the mystery of Clara yet either, because this is before Name of the Doctor. That's the thing I'm having to remember. This is before Name of the Doctor. So this is the first time, the Patstonatter gang is meeting this version of Clara, and the Doctor still doesn't understand the mystery behind Clara. And again, I'm liking the Doctor and Clara here. Right when they rescue her, and they're having their little meeting, and like Clara's trying to tell him something, but he keeps that out, Clara, and he's going through stuff in her head, and then suddenly she's like, a chimney with no smoke. I just love the camaraderie between them right there. Oh, my screwdriver's trying to come apart. I love the camaraderie between them right there. That is just perfect. I like how close the 11th Doctor and Clara are. I really like how the chemistry Matt Smith and Jenna have. That they can just practically finish each other's sentences, and I love that. One of the biggest crimes in all of Doctor Who to me is that we didn't get enough time with them, because I actually, as much as I don't like Clara with Capaldi most of the time, I love Clara with Matt, and I wish we'd gotten another season of that, because they have this little best friends flirty thing going on that I adore, and I wish we'd seen more of it. I love the outfit the Doctor's wearing in this. It's not one of his traditional outfits, and it's a really nice fitting for the period. I had forgotten that, and I really enjoyed that. Watching him have to run around in the red makeup a little bit at the beginning. I don't know why, but I enjoyed that. I really liked this episode. There's a few other, I'm trying to remember some of the other lines. There was a lot of things jumping out at me as I was watching this episode. But it is so much fun. I had such a fun time watching it. Obviously, if you can probably tell just from the review, I really had a ball with this episode. I cannot understand why people don't like this episode. It's so much fun. As long as you're not going into it expecting Genesis or caves, you should have a good time with it. The episode obviously is having a good time with itself. Everyone involved seems like they were having a good time with it. It's silly fun. And I absolutely love it. Plus, just the name, The Crimson Horror, very evocative of the era. We're calling it The Crimson Horror. I love that. It's fitting. And then, of course, everything at the end with the Doctor. You haven't explained about Clara. No. And then he just turns and leaves. I like all of that. Everything going on there. Matt's just gold in this. Diana's just gold in this. Everybody does a good job. It's such a fun story. And I know I'm forgetting to mention some of the things I really wanted to mention. There were so many things. I really should have zipped out the notepad for this, but I really wanted to focus on just enjoying the episode. I love The Crimson Horror. I think it's a very underrated story in what is a somewhat underrated series, and I absolutely love it. It's just fun. I would like to know what you think of this review and what you think of The Crimson Horror. And if you haven't given it a watch in a while, like, say, when it originally aired, I challenge you to go back and watch it. And again, keep that in mind. Go into it as something like Unicorn and the Wasp, where you're just going in to have some fun, when you don't want a serious Doctor Who story, but you just want something fun, a nice filler episode, go back and watch it and give it another chance. You might be surprised. Anyway, comment down below, because I always enjoy hearing from you. Other things to do while I have you here: click the like button and the subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I am currently trying to grow the channel to 800 subscribers. That's my goal right now. I also have a Patreon. If you would like to support me that way, there is a link to that down in the description below. I have a P.O. box as well down in the description below if there's anything you would like to send me to unbox and review. I have a link to my Amazon wish list down there as well. I update that regularly. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.